Take 14 Kiwi kids, a sport almost no one in New Zealand plays.
Baseball is the best sport in the world.
Add a superstar coach named Cola.
Probably you play baseball with a lot of cows.
Mix with wild times at Hong Kong Disneyland.
I ate Mickey Mouse.
You decided to pull the lifeguard down when he went down? No.
And you end up making New Zealand sports history?
Yes, we do.
The trip of a lifetime, and we're going to show you everything.
On national TV.
On Kiwiball, New Zealand's big Little League adventure. Kiwiball, New Zealand's big Little League adventure is proudly brought to you by Giltrap Prestige Volkswagen. And by the New Zealand Baseball Federation. The NZBF invites you to give baseball a go. Contact us at 0508 Baseball for more information. Baseball in New Zealand. It starts with nothing. In other countries where baseball is more popular, you'll find dedicated baseball diamonds everywhere. But every time Auckland's Bayside West Haven Baseball Club plays a game, they have to make their own diamonds in the rough. Today, the club is setting up for the annual Inter-School Baseball Tournament. Close to 400 kids from schools all over Auckland City will be playing baseball, many for the first time.
It's like the best sport in the world. I mean, who wouldn't want to play baseball?
Yep, almost 400 kids, which is about 100 more than regularly play baseball in all of New Zealand. Just how unpopular is baseball here? Let's look at the facts. For every boy or girl who plays baseball in New Zealand, 234 play cricket, and more than 300 play soccer. With these numbers, or rather complete lack of numbers, it's obviously crazy for Kiwi kids to even try to compete against other countries in baseball. Just don't try to tell that to these 14 kids. Meet the boys of New Zealand's 2006 Little League Baseball squad. Oh, and meet the girls as well. In case you can't tell,
The plane ride was good.
they're twins. This team was faced with an impossible mission to travel across the ocean to Hong Kong to compete against teams from countries where thousands of kids play baseball, and to come from this and win their very first game. This is their story.
How's baseball in New Zealand?
I have no idea.
They just don't really get it.
The 2006 New Zealand Little League team wasn't the first Kiwi team to compete in the Little League World Series. In fact, just last year, a team went to the Pacific Regionals in Japan. So guys, how did that go?
Our team last year wasn't that good.
We didn't win any games and we lost by like a lot.
But wait, it gets worse.
I heard that there was just a lot of sicknesses. We had to go to the opening ceremony. We had to wait there in like the middle of the day with no air conditioning or anything, and we got heat stroke.
The fact is, New Zealand has competed in the Little League World Series 4 times and has never, ever even won a single game.
We had an expectation of doing pretty well, primarily because we knew the standard of our players in the local game, and therefore we thought we'd be competitive. The gap was enormous.
So enormous that in 2006, the New Zealand Baseball Federation decided not to sponsor a team to the tournament. So Auckland's Bayside West Haven Baseball Club stepped up to the plate. Not an easy task for a club of 121 players. First, over $50,000 would have to be raised for the trip. And even more difficult than that, they'd have to find a way to, well, not be horribly humiliated. Bayside needed a miracle. What they got was Cola.
Cola is probably the coolest coach I've ever had.
He's a great coach. He knows a lot of stuff that I don't, so he's teaching me new stuff.
He knows what to do when we can't hit the ball. He knows what to do when we're making errors. He just knows everything about baseball.
When the ball hit the left field, center field, go to the back up, okay?
Nobody, we repeat, nobody around here knows baseball like Cola.
I never heard a New Zealand have a baseball, so I just feel, whoa, that's cool. You know, Probably you play baseball with a lot of cows, you know.
He played in the minors for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He also played pro baseball in Japan and in his native Taiwan. But most importantly, as a 12-year-old, he led his Taiwan team to victory in the 1988 Little League World Series in the United States.
It's a great feeling.
Now, this was his chance to take his own team there as head coach.
Okay, go.
When I first time saw the New Zealand team, I said, this can be not a national team. You guys are not serious enough, you know.
And that's been one of the big challenges for New Zealand baseball, is to get international competition and raise that standard.
A lot of parents and like our team manager was asking me, do you want to take the team trip to Hong Kong? I mean, first time I saw just, oh my God, there's a big competition over there. If you want me to take a team, you guys need to take it serious.
But that wasn't Cola's only challenge. This team's future competitors had much better training conditions.
They're coming off their summer, we're in our winter, so we have to contend with rain.
There are also the untended fields and facilities built for absolutely every sport except baseball.
In New Zealand, you don't have much. You just got like a field.
You have to share it with the soccer or the rugby or whatever, and we really don't have the dedicated fields.
But the 14 kids chosen to travel halfway across the world to play baseball weren't complaining.
It's really fun being picked for Hong Kong.
I was quite excited, yeah.
I don't know how I could be more excited. It was the best thing that's ever happened to me so far.
I don't really think I was going to be picked because I was young.
When the ball hit to the left hand side, like it hit the third base or hit the shortstop, whatever, they feel come close.
And soon this team was getting trained like never before.
You need to make it interesting for the kids. So I start thinking about a lot of fun drill for the kids, you know, and you need to laughing with the kids and talking with the kids, play like kids. In the Asian culture, you make a mistake, the coach always yelling to kids, you know, and do again and again and again. But in the kids, you must be patient, you know, to the kids. You know, this all right, you know, try again. You can do it. You're teaching the kids. It's like the mental thing.
He had a baseball personality, and then when we can have fun after when we're not playing, and you can like be a friend instead of a coach.
But these Kiwi kids had to learn more than baseball. No worries for Kola on that, but plenty of worries for team captain Jordan Hurinui.
Every single time he led the haka because he's Maori.
That was an experience because I haven't done any sort of drama or any dancing type stuff.
White boys can haka.
Some could, but some couldn't. Yeah, I feel a bit out of time, but, you know, they'll learn.
Took a while to get it good, but we eventually got there and started off pretty crap. I kind of embarrassed myself, so. Doing haka was like, I can't even explain it. It was just not good.
Girls wouldn't look very good doing the haka anyway.
Why's that?
They're not meant to make angry faces.
But the haka got better, and with 4 practices a week, rain or shine, so did the baseball.
We had a short window for Kola to train the team in, but as I saw them train and saw the improvement, my confidence grew, and having seen the level of competition, I knew we could win a game.
After the 8 weeks, I started thinking about, we probably not only win the 1 game, probably we can take 2 or 3 games.
And Kola was getting cocky.
Probably we can play in the final.
As the fundraising was finalised, with a big sponsorship boost from Giltrap Prestige Motors, Kola approached the team management with a great way to really prep the team.
If we want to win the game, we should play play the top competition before the tournament start. So I talking to the parents and management, can we go into the Taiwan, doing some couple warm-up game before we go into the Little League?
Because if we could beat Taiwan, then we would most likely be able to beat other teams in the Little League.
One last haka at the Auckland airport and the team was on its way to Taiwan and then Hong Kong, with all the poor lonely children already desperately missing their parents.
I didn't really care.
Felt really good travelling away from my parents for 2 weeks.
I was fine without them.
It wasn't that hard. Great.
Team captain Jordan Huranui has been playing baseball for 2 years.
I had to choose between cricket and baseball, and I chose baseball. But I thought the pace of the game was much better.
In that time, the 13-year-old has been on the New Zealand national team, played upper division, and made the under-15 All-Stars. Oh, and he seems to be very popular.
Let's see. Oh, turn off your phone!
11-year-old Jerome Ritchie discovered baseball by accident.
I was signing up for soccer and I saw some kids playing and thought, I'd like to have a go with that.
But he's already played for the National Championship All-Star team and the New Zealand national team.
It is a great sport and you should try it.
For 12-year-old South African Deval de Klerk, baseball is part of his family history.
In South Africa, my granddad played softball and baseball.
Since moving to New Zealand last October, Deval made history of his own, making his club's All-Star squad and the New Zealand national under-13 team. 11-year-old Joe Boyce loves baseball.
It's a really exciting game. It's a fast game, not like cricket or other summer sports.
He was a member of New Zealand's National Championship Under-12 All-Star team and the New Zealand National Under-13 team.
There's a lot of skill involved and a lot of teamwork, but the best part is you have a lot of fun.
Joe's not the biggest cricket fan.
Cricket's very boring, guys.
The 2006 Bayside Little League team was flying high, determined to make New Zealand baseball history. And speaking of New Zealand baseball history, how did the All-American game make it all the way to New Zealand in the first place? To find out, we had to ask a Canadian, the first president of the New Zealand Baseball Federation, Ed Mason.
About 1985-86, I'd been living in New Zealand for about 5 or 6 years. Every time I drove around Auckland and I saw a big flat field, it had a cricket wicket in the middle of it. And I was raised with baseball, so I thought to myself, well, why don't I do something about this?
Unfortunately for Ed, something had been done about it, about 50 years before that.
Peter Lishman, one of those old fellows that I met in the 1980s, had actually been at the original meeting back in 1934 when they were discussing what they were going to do in Auckland.
Auckland is recreation. That's our baseball club. Yes, baseball is huge in America. Yeah.
And apparently a Canadian guy walked in and said,
You don't want to play baseball, you want to play softball, eh?
He showed them what a softball diamond looked like.
You could fit 3 softball
And you could fit 3 softball diamonds into the space that 1 baseball field would take.
Yeah. Softball, is it?
Yes, a fellow Canadian had unwittingly detoured Ed's dream. But Ed was determined to take the baseball debate into extra innings.
Baseball's the original game. Baseball is the big league game. And baseball has much bigger international following than softball does.
And in December of 1988, he took action.
I move that we start a baseball club. Eh?
We put together a list of about 130 people who at one time or another had said that they were interested in baseball.
I second. All in favor?
7, including me, actually turned up in December 1988. And that's what started it. I guess they must have been the right 7 people.
They're even playing it here. This summer, New Zealand's first Little League for 9 to 12-year-olds got underway in Auckland.
Ed became the founder and first president of the newly formed New Zealand Baseball Association.
The Hillary Commission did a survey and they found that New Zealanders 16 to 24, I think it was, only about 83% are not involved in any organized sport. So if we just recruited in that area and recruited athletes off the beach in the summer, we would be doing fine.
So that's why, in 2006, these 14 Kiwi kids found themselves in Taiwan, dancing in the streets. heating up the local cuisine. And for most of them, at their first pro baseball game ever. Turns out they can be kind of loud.
Taiwan was really cool.
It was hot.
Over there it's 33 degrees.
We weren't used to the temperature. We did get like heat rash.
We took the team to Taiwan as part of the acclimatisation for that temperature change and get the players used to the heat, so that historically they would come off a plane and the next day they'd be into the heat playing a highly competitive game.
So could this team pass the first test of the overseas trip? No, we're not talking about playing games. We're talking about rooming together.
She's messy. She'd leave all the clothes on the ground.
We fought over the beds for hours, so we never actually came to an agreement. We did the next night, but we just let the team captain go in the big bed.
We kind of decided that I'd sleep in the big bed for myself.
He kind of kicked us out of the big bed, so I got pretty annoyed, and we'd share a small bed. David Canfield, he's a very tall person, and he's got lanky legs, so he has to kick.
Playing the actual games in Taiwan, however, was a breeze.
It was fun because we were playing against like a different country and they were quite good.
Yeah, the games is fun. There's good warm-up games.
I got a hit in every game.
Well, we won our first game and lost our second game and drew our third game.
I was thinking to myself that we were ready to go on to Hong Kong and playing those other teams.
12-year-old American David Canfield grew up with the game.
I started playing baseball when I was 5, t-ball, because everyone did play anyway. It was really bad.
Apparently, he got better.
I just stuck with it, and that there were people along the way who really helped me.
Since moving to New Zealand, he's been his club team's most valuable player, a member of the National Championship All-Star team and the New Zealand national team.
And I think that moving to New Zealand, it showed me that I could be a leader on a team instead of second or third best.
Mitchell James, age 11, found baseball on holiday.
I went to the States last year and watched some professional ones and kind of got into it and started playing.
And after playing only one season, he wound up the second youngest member of the Little League squad.
Yeah, I'm going to keep on playing baseball.
Why?
Because it's really fun and action-packed.
Indonesia-born Nick Ko likes to follow his own path.
I wanted to do something different than what everybody else was doing, so I decided to play t-ball, what I started with. I moved on to cricket for 1 year, but it's just really boring, too long, and then went back to baseball, and that's where I've been for the rest of my life.
12-year-old Nick led his club team to the Auckland Championship and has spent 2 years on the New Zealand national team. Any advice for other would-be players, Nick?
If you're playing cricket, don't play cricket, play baseball. So much more fun.
After all the months of training and hard work, the team had finally arrived in Hong Kong, where Disney's newest theme park, not quite a year old, was the most excellent host for the 2006 Little League Asia Pacific Tournament.
Disneyland was really cool because they organised all the accommodation and made playing fields for us.
They were way better than ours. They had home run fences and boundaries.
Dugouts, nice field.
For comparison, New Zealand Field, Hong Kong Disneyland Field. But before the games began, there was a very special opening day ceremony where our Kiwi team made their international debut along with the other countries. There, everyone got their first look at the official tournament program.
Unfortunately, they mixed 6 of the names and photos up, which was very disappointing for the players. We had a boy labelled as a girl and vice versa.
Luke, the pretty girl. Meet Kingsley, the handsome guy. Meanwhile, the festivities continued as lions danced and a mouse tried to pitch. Mickey, you're supposed to throw the ball past the batter, not behind him. Since New Zealand had no game the first day, their only other event would be a dinner banquet for all the teams that night. And that banquet would be the first sign of trouble.
When you're taking a team away on an international trip, there are potential for always problems or issues and clashes. And you're dealing with 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Maybe what happened because the team was just a little hungry. After all, they weren't so happy with the Hong Kong Disneyland cuisine.
The food was just, you know, you always wanted to go somewhere else. We got sick of it. Tuna fish sandwiches for breakfast.
The milk wasn't that nice because it kind of tasted like cheese.
Cocoa Puffs for lunch.
I ate colours and noodles there for lunch.
Some weird Disneyland place for dinner.
A lot of people like that.
Yeah, so at that banquet, everybody was just hungry.
There was a chocolate fountain and it was like 5 layers high. They had like these little chocolate figures, like of the characters of Disney.
And we kind of snapped them and broke them off and ate them. We weren't meant to, but yeah.
With Mitchell, he took almost everything there was.
Yeah.
He took the big Cinderella one.
I was about that big, and Mickey Mouse and Dumbo were about that big.
I ate Mickey Mouse, and I ate an ear off Minnie Mouse, and I think I ate Pluto's tail.
They said that I was the first person ever at Hong Kong Disneyland to eat the chocolate decorations.
Yes, the team had made New Zealand history for the first time, but maybe not the last. Coming up, the real baseball begins at last.
Ooh, we can win again.
Can the Kiwis do it? The answer when Kiwiball continues.
The Pacific Islanders, Los Pumas, Springboks, the Wallabies, and our very own All Blacks. What a brilliant try! The ultimate lineup of Southern Hemisphere rugby trek north to test themselves against the giants of the Six Nations. Unbelievable! Indulge yourself in a global rugby showcase this November and find out why they call it the game played in heaven. The Northern Hemisphere Rugby Internationals coming soon on the Rugby Channel.
Faceless financial hub of the free world. Smell the greenbacks from here. We're in the finance biz too, but unlike you blokes up there, we like to keep our feet on the ground, where the people are. Mind you, we did have our cynics, people thinking this Kiwi won't fly. Changed their tune when we took off though. Of course, they didn't reckon on the Kiwi spirit, so in the old school, a bit like you Poms said, you can't do that. We just did. And now you Aussie blokes have got your mitts on most of our other banks. We're not going to let our profits sail across the ditch. Oh no. Because while you're building your multinational financial empires, we're at home coming up with smarter ways to save Kiwis time and cash. Because we're a Kiwi bank. We like to see our customers right. It's the Kiwi way. And like the bank, it's ours. Not yours, all those other big bankers overseas. Bit like the next Rugby World Cup, actually.
He lifted up his arms. I've never seen anything like it. From here to here. I'll never forget the day I met him.
Everyone sweats a little. It's normal.
I didn't think much of him. I couldn't stand to be around him anymore. And then he found the answer. And now I really like him.
Lynx Dry, the new antiperspirant from Lynx.
The new Camry, with a sophisticated BVTI engine and an intelligent 5-speed automatic transmission. It always finds the perfect balance between power and efficiency. The new Toyota Camry, the car that reads the road.
been competing in this tournament for 5 years and have never won a game, but this year we're going to win a game.
Pack up your gear, guys. Zip it all up.
After months of training, the moment of truth had arrived. It was finally time to play baseball.
Make sure your tag is in your bag.
After when I saw the Philippines and Indonesia, I just think, ooh, we can win a game. There's no doubt.
Indonesia would be their first opponent. The Kiwi confidence kicked in.
We gonna win?
Yep.
So Cole, you ready for this? We're gonna win?
But so did the heat. Kohler had to make sure the team kept its cool because this was one of the games where they just might win.
I know it's hard, I feel hard as well, but can you just focus on the field right now?
Game time. Team New Zealand took the field and let everyone know they were there, just the way you'd expect them to. The bad news was Indonesia had already won their first game and might be tougher than expected. The good news was that New Zealand had Nick Coe on the mound.
It feels great actually pitching on a good mound compared to the mounds in New Zealand, the fields. It's so much better actually having a home run fence and proper boundaries.
Nick had been the dominant pitcher in his division in New Zealand, and he'd been unstoppable in the regular season, winning his team the championship. Now he was ready to take on Indonesia.
I put in my number 2 pitcher in the first game, and actually he's doing well, you know.
He did amazing. Nick delivered big time, holding Indonesia to 1 run.
The kid's awesome, eh? I mean, you know, he stood up. He didn't have the arm as some of these, you know, some of these other Asian sort of kids. They're bigger and, you know, stronger, but hey, gee, you know, when he pitched, and, you know, they swung and they missed.
Meanwhile, team captain Jordan led the offense by stealing home for the first Kiwi run, with Luke and Andrew also hitting Indonesia hard.
In the practices before the tournament, I wasn't hitting so well, but when it came to the tournaments, yeah, it was.
To make the score giving New Zealand a 5-1 lead. But after 4 innings, Nick was getting tired. Kohler needed 1 more inning out of him.
Come on, you got pitching 1 more innings. If you did that, we will win the game. You are a winning pitcher. Probably I can just give you a kiss, something like that. And he did. I can feel he feel a lot of pressure, but it's good.
You can do it, Nick. 1 more.
Nick kept the Indonesians at bay through the 5th inning. Then, in the 6th and last inning, Kohler put in Andrew to finish the job.
I told Andrew, if we take a lead, you are the closer, you know. So after I just feel the first time I'm nervous, you know, when I'm coaching the team.
And it was 2 outs, and all we needed was 1 more out to have that win. And I can remember holding on to the fence and looking over to Kohler, and he was holding on to the fence.
I told the kids, you know, you got to support your team members, even we're doing singing, but it's fine, because every time when you make singing, you just forget it, you know, the scary thing.
I was pretty nervous, but yeah, it's good.
And in those final tense moments, a couple of siblings and a friend helped keep that feeling alive.
We cheered for the team, louder than any other team, and we used these little doohickeys here.
We would stand by the dugout and cheer for them and tell them that it's not over until Gatlin sings.
And then the final out.
I was playing first base, and Andrew got the ball through it to first, so we got the out, and then we won.
And the first New Zealand Little League victory ever.
It's crazy because they don't believe they can win a game. After the last out, we just see the kid just jumping around in the pitching mound.
Oh, I screamed quite a lot, and jumped up and down and hugged and yelled, and it was just wonderful.
We were cheering, it was a good feeling.
We just all ran into the pitching mound.
very ecstatic, over the moon, stoked, chuffed.
You can see that someone nearly crying.
That was great this morning, winning that first game.
I felt excited, really excited, because we made New Zealand history. So that was pretty good.
Actually, I think we were most of that victory. Without us, I think they wouldn't have had a chance.
Not too sure about that, mate, but we are sure. This was an unforgettable moment for everyone involved. For Kohler, it reminded him of what happened when a sports show did a story about the team back in New Zealand.
Well, guys, could be going to the World Series.
Yeah.
Before a trip to the Asian play the Little League, and we got some interview from the TV3.
Well, if we win, then it makes history for New Zealand because New Zealand haven't won a game. They haven't won a game yet. Yeah.
And we're doing fake one. You guys are just jumping around in the pitching mound. We did it. We made it. And when you saw it, it's just like unreal. Just like it's so fake. After the last hour when we were in the Little League, and just everything is real. Kids smile. Some people just grab their cell phone, just say, I want to talk to my mom from New Zealand, Just think about they win the game and they make it. You can see that everyone's face just so happy. I mean, even as adult, I'm so happy. In that time, I was just taking my friend's phone and ran back to my mom. Mom, I made it. So everyone is happy. Everyone is so proud of this team.
I'm so good. It's not a player. It's me.
Luke Hansen, age 12, had a family connection to baseball.
My older brother played when he was younger, so I just started playing.
Good move, Luke. Luke has been a New Zealand national team member for the past 2 years and a club all-star.
Baseball's a really cool sport and it's just fun.
Andrew Holmes didn't expect to make the team for Hong Kong.
No, not really.
But his bat and his arm made him a must. While playing upper division, he still made his club's under-15 all-stars at the tender age of 12.
It's a fun game. We should get more people doing it.
12-year-old twins Erica and Kingsley Avery, the only girls on the team and in the entire Little League tournament, have racked up some major baseball honours.
We started playing baseball when we were 7 years old.
Kingsley at the National All-Star Tournament.
We won the tournament and they were picking our most valuable player and they picked me.
And Erica on her club team.
I got most valuable player too, out of my team.
As for why they play baseball?
It's better than softball, because with girls it's too easy.
Okay, but what about cricket?
I hate cricket, that's boring.
The problem with making sports history during the first game of a tournament is the second game is bound to be a letdown, especially when Guam, the team you're set to face, is one of the best.
They won the tournament last year, and so everyone said the Guam guys were so big and that they were really good.
Today it's a lot hotter, a lot smoggier, and a lot more tense, and no one
Not again.
is ready to predict victory.
We are starting pitchers. Our young pitcher is Jordan, and he know this is a tough game. So, day before, I just told to Jordan, "You got ready for this." When the next day is coming, I'm watching his face. He's just nervous. You can feel.
What are you doing? I'm putting my shirt on.
It was a tough first 3 innings for Jordan as Guam took a 6-run lead. The team was losing its spark.
When we started losing, we just didn't feel good. We just looked down. That was probably one of our worst games.
But in the top of the 4th inning, with 2 players on base, it felt like comeback time. David was coming up to bat.
You got to make a swing. Only you hit the ball and you can send our runner home.
I felt really nervous. I had a lot of pressure under me. I didn't know really what to do. I just felt like if I didn't get a hit, I would fail. I got a hit, but we caught it. And it was really disappointing.
I know he's trying, and he tried pretty hard. After he made contact, but I need to say this like a good defense for the pitcher.
I cried.
One thing I don't like is kids crying. So I always turn to the other player, just go support and go talk to your player.
You want to say something to your big brother?
Some player already turned to him. Don't worry about it, you're doing a great job. So I can feel it's a teamwork.
And maybe that helped inspire what happened next, when Andrew came into pitch in the bottom of the 4th inning.
3 strikeout, so like 3 up, 3 down, and line strikeout, no balls. I mean, this is a perfect throw.
9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 batters up, 3 batters down. A baseball rarity. A perfect inning.
Yeah! Well, I wasn't expecting that against one of the strongest teams in the competition.
Not only that, but young Alec, Jordan, and Andrew put together a few hits. And with help from a Guam fielding error, New Zealand got on the scoreboard. Yes, the final score was 8-1 Guam, but the year before, New Zealand had lost 23-2.
They didn't beat us by that much. We thought that they'd be a lot tougher. I think we probably should have been able to get a few more runs on the board.
The Kiwis had expected to lose to Guam, but their next opponent, the Philippines, had already lost both of their tournament games. New Zealand was ready to go for a second win, if they could survive their coach.
Nipple Gripple's call started, and I got the sort of the short end of it from most of the kids. I was abused and tortured.
Now Kohler was ready to take a bite out of the Philippines.
Philippines is the weakest team, so I tried to put in my best pitcher. So I saved my best pitcher for 2 days.
That was Andrew, who only pitched 1 inning in each of the 2 preceding games. But after his perfect inning against Guam,
he's too confident. So next day, when they're against the Philippines, they think about, oh, my speed will be awesome. No one can make contact and hit the ball.
Things did not start well.
Their first batter hit a home run.
Wow. It's a big home run.
Ball is gone. Just a long way out.
Yeah.
When they hit the ball, it was either over the fence or like just in, so it was quite hard to like catch the ball.
We let a lot of runs in the first inning.
The game against the Philippines wasn't too good.
So after 1 inning in a game they thought they could win, the Kiwis were down 6-0, and it was up to relief pitcher Joe to stop the bleeding.
Just to get my confidence up and just really work hard to try bring our team back up from those 6 runs he let in. I think I got 1 home run hit off me, but the rest were just little ground balls and we got most of the outs.
The Philippines had stopped scoring. Now Kohler wanted his team to start.
What's the point you guys come over here? We try to win a game, we play a tournament, so you got to show the other team. Okay, and after that, and the first batter was come out and hit 1 solo home run, and you just starting to feel the team. You know, it's got a great feeling, and it's starting to fight back.
That was Jordan, who hit 1 out of the park.
That was good. That was great, hitting that home run.
Followed by DeVault, hitting another.
It was really exciting.
But it was too little too late, unfortunately for closing pitcher Jerome.
I went out and pitched. It was really fun. The sad part was that they got a lot of home runs off me.
And the team fell 13-4. With little Mitchell falling the hardest.
I got hit by a pitch by a really small pitcher and hit me near my ankle, so I couldn't really walk. And so they put me on a stretcher to go to the first aid room. It was fun.
Goodbye forever.
Goodbye.
You know, once they go in, they never come back out.
It was the game they should have won. Kohler knew it, and he wanted to make sure his team knew it.
First inning was so poor. You guys just play like shit. When we stay in the dugout, I just say, oh my God, what's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, that was quite annoying.
We win the first game. You guys are such like, oh, we're really, really confident. We can win the game. We can win the game. Hey, talk is cheap. You gotta do it.
But let's have a final bit of perspective on the game.
I was talking to the Philippines guy and asking him how many players that they really had in their league that could play to qualify, and he said something over 7,000. We've got, a couple of hundred.
Coming up, the rain comes down, and so does a lifeguard on a water slide.
What just happened? Who did this?
Then, can New Zealand win their last game? Plus, a refreshing surprise from Kohler.
Everyone just stood up and cheered.
When Kiwiball continues.
Throw me in the river, hurl me in the sea, chuck me in the water, that's where I wanna be.
Oxy Ride!
Hurl me in the sea.
The world is a big place, especially for a small child like Rosemary. The world she lives in is a harsh one, where families beg on the street and struggle to survive. Rosemary is lucky. She has survived malaria and malnutrition, unlike many other children who will die here. Rosemary is sponsored by Child Fund. She has a chance because one person cares. There are many children that need you to care. You can help a child. Please call now to help a child like Rosemary. 30,000 children died yesterday. 30,000 more children will die needlessly today and tomorrow. They die from bad water, malnutrition, preventable childhood diseases. These children need you. Please, call now. Call Child Fund to help a child like Rosemary.
Anytime is a great time for a barbecue, and Harvey Norman has them all. Harvey Norman's barbecue flyer is out now. It's jam-packed with all the great brands at very affordable prices. From our 3-burner barbecues right through to the massive 7-burner barbecue. Charcoal grills, stainless steel hardwood trolleys. With all the accessories to match, patio heaters, gas bottles and cooking tools. For the best range at affordable prices, head into Harvey Norman, where we have you cooking this summer. New Zealand's home of barbecues.
Go Harvey Norman, go!
Rain, the natural enemy of baseball. The morning after the Philippines game, the fields were soaked.
They're thinking that we're probably not going to play it until tomorrow, and we move everything until we know that. Right now we all have to stay in the hotel and wait till we know, and then once we know...
The tournament games were delayed, so the team played some very different kinds of games around the hotel.
Hey! Oh, what are you throwing?
There was hide and seek with David and the Disneyland maids.
The maids, and they kept on laughing and pointing at David and like hiding behind like the carts and stuff.
Oh, they loved David. They wanted pictures with him and his number and stuff like that, and the email address.
Four maids wanted a photo of David because they thought he was so attractive and cute.
We actually didn't help him. We kind of pulled him out of his room so they could meet him. Yeah, and we told them, oh, David's down the hall, and they would come and like run and see him. And we also she gave David a note, and we gave it back pretending it was David, and so she said like she loved him or something.
And the maid yelled out, David, David, David. And I thought my luck had changed, but it was you they were after. I'm deeply hurt that a 12-year-old beats me.
It was Irene. I don't like that one.
There was also the not-so-fun game of Pretend Pandemic.
I don't know why, but in Hong Kong, and eating lots of chicken and Asian food, they decided they all had the bird flu.
Why bird flu? It must have had something to do with an experience the kids had back in New Zealand.
They had an opportunity to be in this movie, which was about bird flu, and it was a baseball team in America. They filmed it here in New Zealand.
The scene the kids appeared in went something like this.
Hey buddy, you ready? Let's go back to Hong Kong. Bibble!
Honey, are you okay? Here, have some of my drink. Better? This is refreshing. I like this. Everyone was coughing. And from the pool, because we went swimming so much, and then everyone was panicking. Like everyone was. And they were all like running into CJ's room asking, and then it got better, and we didn't have bird flu after like 10 minutes.
Of course, later in the movie, they all died horrible deaths. Then finally, there was the most dangerous game of all, Water Slide Smackdown.
When all the other teams were at the pool, they were just like following the rules. But we were the only team that went every afternoon, and we would always.
Minority?
We had a slide in. We're meant to go down one at a time, but we all decided to go down 7.
So we got everyone lined up, then when the light went green, we all rushed down, and then the lifeguard tried to pull Mitchell back, but then he pulled the lifeguard down.
He got pretty annoyed and called hotel security and the managers.
Like, ah! What just happened? Who did this?
Yeah. They actually closed the pool.
My job was really easy at the Disneyland Hotel, but when I found out that they were having to bring in extra security people because our New Zealand kids were so crazy and wild and pushing lifeguards off slides, I thought, well, maybe I need to pick up and do my job again.
What happened, Mitchell? Tell me what you did to the lifeguard. Come on.
What happens on tours has to stay on tours.
10-year-old Alec Kelly, the team's youngest player, has already played for the New Zealand Championship All-Star team.
I'm gonna keep playing baseball because I love the sport.
And his future looks even brighter.
I think I'm much better now.
Zach Weiber, age 12, is another all-round all-star.
It's a good sport to play, so
And don't you diss baseball in front of him.
don't deny it at the first sense. So like, you don't just come up and say, nah, try it before you judge it.
13-year-old Scott Drinkwater took up baseball while he was living overseas.
I got into baseball because I lived in America.
When he got home to New Zealand,
They all wanted me to play cricket.
but Scott stuck with baseball. Scott, any reason for your choice of sport?
Cricket's boring. Cricket's slow. It's just boring.
Finally, it was back to baseball, training around the puddles and getting ready for the Kiwis' final game against CNMI Saipan, the only Pacific team that was still undefeated.
And I know it's really, really tough, but you still need to talk to the kids. We can do that. We can hit the ball.
Oh, you're hot.
In practice, they could hit the ball. But as for the game, well, CNMI was the team hitting. The final score was 10-0, with one small bright spot.
The little girl hit the first hit, I was just so proud.
I did a really good bunt, and I got on first base against CNMI because we didn't get that many people on base in that game.
Only 2, actually, as Nick Coe also got a hit. But that was it, and the Kiwis were mercied in the 4th inning. A rule that stipulates that if a team is leading by 10 runs after 4 innings, the game is over.
I told the kids, enjoy the game. This is your last game. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the feeling. How many people would support you guys, join this team and play this team?
The competition was really tough. What are you going to do? That's baseball.
Maybe it was baseball, but it was not a happy ending.
After a game, we down by 10. I know everyone was upset, so I tried to do something.
He told us to slide in the center field in the mud and get real dirty so we could have a part of the ground and just say that we've been there.
Kohler did that when he played and he said that we should, so the groundskeepers were not happy.
I think the kids have no idea what I'm talking about. It's not a fun. For me, it's like once per life. You're never going back there again. And I still keep the one uniform and a glove. And my uniform still have a little grass, Just try to remind me I was playing the 1988, the World Series in the States. It's just a great feeling.
That's good, I like that.
And it was a great feeling to see that New Zealand had actually placed third out of the 5 teams in the Pacific tournament. All that was left was the closing banquet, a night to celebrate a special time and mingle with new mates.
I made a lot of friends from all around the world. It was a really cool feeling to see the Little League World Series on TV and say that guy's my friend.
Yeah, I had a couple of friends from Hong Kong and some friends from the Japan team and from Guam and CNY. There was this guy with massive ears, Kento.
Kento, he's from Hong Kong and he's humongous ears.
This is Kento. Yes, his ears are big.
He has really big ears.
Later, each team got to go up on stage and show their stuff.
Oh, Korea. Yeah, Korea.
When it was New Zealand's turn, the team did their final haka of the week. And then, something different happened.
Please call up my coach, Colin, and his lovely girlfriend, Ruby. Please come on.
We go to Hong Kong to buy the engagement diamond ring. It's for my fiancée. Our umpire, Glenn, he just say, "How about you just doing here?" I said, "No, I'm not in front of 500 people." Because one thing I feel nervous, other thing I just feel, I'm not the kind of man like that.
Getting nervous now.
It was something that Kohler had ummed and ahed about a little bit. He's sort of very easily led and his English isn't very good, and I think he probably didn't understand what he was saying.
When he went down on his knees, everyone just stood up and cheered and stuff.
It was so cool when he did it.
Will you marry me?
It was the perfect pitch.
I thought it was pretty special how he did it with his baseball team and in front of everyone in the tournament. Normal people would probably just propose somewhere else and not. But I thought it was a good place to propose.
So a final toast to Kohler and Ruby, and to our intrepid New Zealand Little League team and their historic success. Because the trip of a lifetime was over, and it was time to go back to reality.
I felt horrible. It was just, I did not want to go back to school.
Pretty stank, coming back to my parents. Wanted to stay there.
I wanted to stay there and play baseball, so I was sad.
But the memories will remain.
I remember all of the people that I met.
I remember winning the first game that we had when we got there.
Even if right now they're a little hard to let go.
I didn't feel very good because we just had a great trip and I just kind of wanted to stay at Hong Kong another whole week because it was so fun. And yeah, we didn't really want to go back to school.
These kids are really just at the beginning.
I'm pretty sure the New Zealand baseball have a future.
Yes, I will keep playing baseball.
I want to go to the majors.
Major leagues.
To the major leagues?
Major league.
Definitely the majors.
I'd go up to the major leagues.
I just have to take it one step at a time.
Well, guys, there was another New Zealand baseball first in 2006 that should give you hope. The first Kiwi ever was drafted by the major leagues, Scott Campbell, now a member of the Toronto Blue Jays organisation.
That one's out of here!
And already named MVP in his first year in the minors.
Well, when I was like 9 years old, my mum saw an ad in the newspaper and, I thought it'd be something fun to do, so jumped on board with the game, and after having going to Japan my first year of playing, I really saw what baseball was like, and I knew that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Sure, other countries play more baseball, but New Zealanders are proving they can play better baseball, or as we like to call it, Kiwiball. Kiwiball was proudly brought to you by Giltrap Prestige Volkswagen and by the New Zealand Baseball Federation. The NZBF invites you to give baseball a go.
Find me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't know.
Good evening. On the way here on Sky Sport 1, we're about to cross live to North Harbour Stadium in Albany as the struggling New Zealand Knights host the top of the table Melbourne Victory in the Hyundai A-League. After the live soccer, we'll head to Mohali in India to join the play underway in the Pakistan-South Africa 2006 ICC Champions Trophy one-day cricket match. That's live on Sky Sport 1. And note for cricket fans, we'll have the beginning of that game from 9:30 live on Sky Sport 2.
The highly anticipated Battle for the Ashes, coming soon, Sky Sport.
New generation 9 Viera. Imagine winning one. Go to channel 222 to enter.
Go off with Nutrigrain and be in to win a trip for two to watch either an extreme sports event in LA, or the Billabong Pro in Tahiti, or the V8 Supercars in Bathurst. You just have to make your mind up where to go.
With ASB's 10 out of 10 home loans, they'll get the documents to your solicitor within 24 hours of approval.
That's fast. Dumpling?
Certainly is, Pumpkin.
New Ajax Professional Ultra Bathroom. Put it to the test.
Here's a test. My boy's working on cars.
Just watch. Ajax Professional removes tough grease and grime easily.
Wow.
Anything tougher?
Try my girls and their makeup.
No problem. New Ajax Professional Ultra Bathroom even tackles mascara and lipstick.
Now that's a makeover.
What about a tougher test?
Here's the ultimate. The soap scum you find here and here. I'd like to see it shift that.
New Ajax Professional has been formulated to meet the tough demands of experts. So it's 50% tougher on soap scum than the leading soap scum spray.
Incredible.
New Ajax Professional Ultra Bathroom. Put it to the test in your bathroom.
With Super Cheap Auto Super Saver Specials, look for the spot to save 30% or more. Two 48-litre storage roller boxes only $16.50, save $7.48, and get a bonus Formula 1 wash and wax and instant detailer, both only $14.98, save $15.
Kia ora, Tiger here. Now this commercial's for all you grown-ups out there, because just like kids, adults need to protect themselves too. So, slip, slop, slap, and wrap. And in the middle of the day, enjoy some time in the shade. After all, kids do what we do, so be sun smart and be great role models. You can still have a great summer, you just gotta be a bit brighter than the sun. Hey! Oh, come here, you little shrimps. Gotcha!
Yeah! Woo! Woo!
Last orders, everyone.
You all right, mate?
I'm a handyman failure. I try, but I'm just not handy.
Oh, come on. You're as handy as the next bloke. Hammer Hardware. It's your local.
What an experience.
The ITM Fishing Show. Every week. Sky Sport.